Hello, I'm April with The Curl Story, a channel dedicated to curly hair styling. So of course we need to have a curly girl method wash day. So for many, the curly girl method, otherwise known as CGM, has really been the catalyst for beginning curly hair journeys all over the world. And it was a stepping stone for my hair journey as well. There are just 3 main steps to the curly girl method, and we'll go through all of those details together so you can understand all the little tips and tricks along the way that you can try on your hair as well. And a big thank you to Keratin for sponsoring this video and having a whole line of curly girl approved products so we can confidently and successfully style our curls. And in many instances, it explains over time you will know how much water your hair needs, or how much product or how much conditioner to leave in your hair or to rinse it all out. So I thought that was very interesting and important for all of us to know that it's not a one-size-fits-all type of method. There are guidelines to help begin your journey and learn about your hair, and then make adjustments to be able to style your hair in a fashion that represents you, represents your look, and represents your style. First step is cleansing the hair, which is absolutely critical. First, you really need to soak your hair. Let it really absorb. So this could take up to 3 minutes. And your cleanser really needs that water in order to distribute throughout the hair. The most important step to cleansing the hair, as recommended by the Curly Girl method, is to use a sulfate-free shampoo. So today I am using the Keratin freshening line of shampoo and conditioner that meets all the criteria of the Curly Girl method, with sulfate-free, silicone-free. Because it is a mild shampoo, you really need to work it in. For example, if you use a scalp brush to really work it into the scalp to make sure that it's evenly distributed. And it's also important to allow that shampoo to go through the length of your hair. And also it's important to know, with a mild shampoo, you can shampoo 2 times. With a sulfate-free shampoo, it is mild enough that you can use it 2 times if necessary on a single wash day, and it will not dry out your hair. You will not cause your hair any damage. So this is one of those things that you do have to try and see what works for you. Definitely give it a try if you feel you need to. After your hair is cleansed, of course, we're going to begin the conditioning process. Curly hair should never skip conditioner. Cleanser is really just to cleanse the hair and prepare it for the conditioning process. It's designed that way, that's its purpose. So the conditioner really aids in changing the pH level of your hair for it to more easily absorb the water, which is the moisture. And the conditioning agents work together to provide slips so that you can detangle your hair at this point. And again, you do want to work it through. So I rake it through all the sections of my hair little by little. And once I feel my hair transforming to really soften and get that slippery seaweed feel to it, that's when I know the conditioning transformation has happened. My hair is hydrated and I'm ready to move on to the next step. And this is where the Curly Girl method leaves some options, where you can just do a trickle rinse with a little bit of water, and you can leave in much of that conditioner in your hair. Or if you prefer to rinse it all out, and it may just even depend on the day, it may depend on the weather. So that is something that's in flux. There isn't one answer for all hair types. You can use a daily conditioner, or you can opt for a deeper treatment with a mask, which is a thicker conditioner that you would leave on for about 5 minutes and put a shower cap over it. Or you can even use a heat cap, which I personally love to do. I find for my hair, it makes a huge difference in that warmth. The warmth combined with the cap covering and preventing any water loss during this conditioning process just allows the hair cuticle to open up and really absorb all of that water, all of that moisture. And for me, that makes the biggest difference. This is especially important for me at the end of summer, after all the pool days and dry weather, to really be able to treat my hair and bring those curls back to life. Once the hydration process is complete, we can get to the fun part of styling, and that begins right after the conditioning process. So the timeline between rinsing the conditioner out and applying my stylers has been a critical factor in having great wash day results, because I leave very little time for that water to evaporate. And for thick hair like mine, leaving in more water makes a huge difference in maintaining that curl definition that I love. So again, this is something else that's an option in the Curly Girl method. If you have finer hair, you may want to use a cotton towel, a muslin towel. I'll leave some of my favorites below, or an old t-shirt, in order to soak up a lot of that water first before applying stylers, so that your hair is not too weighed down. So different hair types do prefer different amounts of water, and that is something, again, that the method leaves open for you to test and determine what works best for your hair type. The Curly Girl method does advocate for an upside down styling to glaze over a generous amount of gel and scrunch it in. But that doesn't mean that you cannot try different ways of styling your hair. I love to have more control over my bangs and how the top of my hair shows up. Because my hair is so thick, it is difficult to just apply gel by scrunching it all in. So I do love to do upright styling, which is still perfectly allowed, and it's performed this way in many professional curl salons. But you definitely have the option to style your hair upright if you prefer, if it's more comfortable for you, and if you like the styling results that you achieve from this, which I do. I love the upright styling results. It really allows me to have more definition for my hair, and for me to be able to see in the mirror how my hair is shaping up during the process. I found that working section by section is the easiest way for me to see that I've applied enough gel through each section of hair. And I start from the bottom and work my way up to the top. And working in these sections allow me to make sure that even through my thick hair, every section of hair gets the same amount of product, the same amount of attention, and there aren't going to be any frizzy patches that'll pop up after the styling process. So that gives me confidence in knowing that I'm going to have a successful wash day. If you add too much, you can try to distribute it, move some of that gel to another section. And if you find you use too little, you can always apply more during the styling process, or even after you've dried your hair, or for a refresh. It's a buildable product. And today I'm using a whole lot of sectioning clips. You can not only use these sectioning clips to hold up your hair, but also to clip down your hair, so that when you take down a new section, it doesn't get tangled with the hair that you've already styled. So here's where we get to why I love upright styling so much. Is I often do these horizontal sections across the top, because I really want to make sure that I'm applying the gel from the root all the way through the lengths of my hair. And this really helps to avoid that crown frizz or having any of those missed spots, because especially with long hair, when you're just scrunching in all of your gel, it's going to be concentrated on the ends of your hair and much less of it at the roots. And diffusing is allowed for sure. So when you air dry your hair, it takes hours. There's a lot of room for frizz to happen during that period of time. So cool air will not dry your hair very quickly at all. Diffusing on low to medium heat, because it is really the warm air that's going to dry your hair and allow your curls to set in that lifted and coiled position when you're drying it. But on my hair dryer, for example, it only has 2 settings, and the lowest setting still feels quite warm to me. So I toggle every 30 seconds between that low heat and the cool shot settings. And that's how I can keep the temperature even lower, but still warm enough to actively dry my hair. And what about root clipping? We have to talk about root clipping. That is a big thing, of course, in the curly girl method, to try to lift the roots and to help aid in allowing the curl formation to start at the root and move all the way down. And this root clipping method and root lifting method has had some evolution by the author as well. In the book, she uses root clips, but currently in her salon, she also uses hair picks to lift the hair and diffuse while they're all in that lifted position. So there are different and evolving methods to lift the roots and dry them for more volume. And as an optional final step, you can soften or open your gel cast as it's described in the Curly Girl Handbook, which is after your hair has dried, the gel will have a hardened cast over your curls, and you can choose to keep that gel cast or you can open it and soften it. Scrunch out the crunch is another name for it to create really soft, bouncy, flexible curls. Let me know if you follow the Curly Girl method or if it was a catalyst to starting your curly hair journey as well. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.